Hey, welcome back to the shop. Today I am in one of the rooms in my house and I'm gonna show you how to do this spaceship Earth pattern on your wall. This pattern looks complicated, but once you get the hang of it, it's not so much. I'm gonna show you how to lay it down, how to paint it, and give you some tips along the way. I had already made this video, however it turned out to be very long. There's a lot of tips and useful stuff in there, but I just decided to make a new one. At the time I was recording it and at the time that I was going to post it, there was nothing else there. I don't know if there's anything else already there. However, I think that this is something that will help other people, so here it is. I'm gonna try to make this a short video, so I'm gonna be talking fast and I'm gonna go through a lot of cuts with just important information. This wall right here is 9 by 12 and I used a grid of 18 by 18. So basically from here to here is 18 and from here to here is 18. You can use whatever dimensions on your triangles. However, the smaller, the more segments you're gonna have, the bigger, the less segments, and the less you're gonna see the pattern. I think that something between 18 to 21 should be a good size. I would recommend you to use a dimension that you can divide easily by half and easily by 3. In this case, 18, 9, and 6. For a little while now, I've been making what I call Disney walls to go. I sell them on my Etsy page and it's meant for those people that don't have a wall to paint, or that they don't want to paint the whole wall, or they rent an apartment or a house, they can't really do it, so I do it on a canvas, mostly in sections of canvas that you can put together and then you can take them with you when you leave. However, I'll talk to you more about that at the end of the video. All right, let's get down to it. This is what you're gonna need. Of course, you're gonna need paint. You need black in 3 different shades of gray. I used 1.5 quarts of black and 1/2 quart for each of the colors. You're gonna need masking tape for the ceiling, for the walls, and for the floor. You can also use a drip cloth if you need to. For masking the walls and the ceiling, I used a thick masking tape. For the pattern, you're gonna need a thin masking tape. You might not find this at Lowe's or Home Depot. You need to order it online and I'll give you the link on the description. They had nothing to do with me, so it doesn't matter where you buy it. You're gonna need either a light color pencil or a piece of chalk. I'd sharpen it and make it kind of like a chisel shape to lay down a finer line. You're gonna need an X-Acto knife. This will help you a lot. Of course, going to need some paintbrushes. For most of it, I use a 2-inch thick paintbrush, and then for all the detail and close to the edges, I use an artist paintbrush. Using a tape measure could be a little tedious, so I made this for me because I have access to other tools. This is an 18 inches stick that I divided in half, and I divided by 3. You can also use one of these acrylic rulers. You can find them at the craft store. They are already 18 inches and you already have all the measurements. The dimensions of the triangles are up to you and the size of your wall. I think that anything between 12 and 21 should work well. As I said before, the smaller, the more segments you're gonna have, the bigger. Of course, the less segments. However, you can't see the pattern very good if you go too big. We're going to the fun part. Mask your walls, your ceiling, and your floor. Once you have protected the rest of the walls, paint it all black. You might need only 1 coat if you have good coverage. If it's a little patchy, give it another one, but 1 should be enough. Once the black paint is cured, then take your thin masking tape and make a frame all around it. So ceiling, walls, and floor. Just a thin line all around the wall. That's gonna give you a defined space for your actual pattern. If you don't have that thin frame, it might look like it's going all the way to the ceiling and it doesn't end, but this one is gonna make it look nicer. The next step is to lay the horizontal lines. With your 1/4 inch tape, mark every 18 inches. You already have the first one on the bottom where you do the frame. So from the center of that tape, mark 18 inches. It doesn't have to be precise, just about the center. 18 inches, 18 inches, 18 inches, all the way to the ceiling. You're also going to need a level. The longer, the better. I think this one is about 4 feet long. Again, the longer, the better, but I think this is about the right size. You can do this by yourself, but some help will be very useful. Mark every 18 inches and then use your level to draw that 18 inches line all across your room. Once you have that line of chalk, then put tape over it. Once you laid your horizontal lines, you're gonna need a mark at every 18 and 9 inches. So basically every 9 inches. I'm marking a 0 right there. I'm taking this like the corner of the bottom corner of your wall, just as an example. So 0, 9, and 18. Just make the marks on the tape. Next is your diagonal lines. I'm gonna take this point as my 0 reference instead of going down there. I'm gonna use this piece of tape to show you how to do it. Very simple. You're gonna start at 0, of course. 0, and then they're gonna cross at 9. From 0 to 9, they're gonna cross right here, and then they cross again at the other 18 over here. So 0, 9, 18, and so on. You're gonna do that every 18 inches. So you start it here, lay down this one, and then the next one over here, and do that one, and then the other way around. Doing that will give you these triangles right here, the large triangles. Okay? When you do it both ways, it will give you one upside down and one right side up. Now we're gonna do the segments inside the triangles. The easiest way to do it for me was from going to tip. This tip of the triangle to this tip of the triangle. Next, you're gonna measure 6 inches with your measuring stick. So from here, on the center, mark 6 on top of the tape. Once you have that 6, from this corner or this corner, you're gonna start your tape right here and go to this mark you did at 6 inches right there. And you can just cut the piece like that. The same thing on the other side. So from here to the other corner right here. This is where you're gonna use your X-Acto knife. Once you have it all laid down, or along the way, it's up to you. You come right here and you cut that piece and make it crisp, and then take this section all the way to here. Another way to do it that could be faster for you, it's up to you which one you use. First, put this tape from here to here. You can do it from the ceiling all the way to the floor if you want, but you're gonna waste more tape. So I'll do it from here to here. Then I go and measure the 6 inches to here and to here. From this point and to this point, I'd lay down the tape right here, and then the other way around, and so on all along the wall. Once that is done, then I cut the pieces that I don't need. You're definitely going to have to dig in a little bit on your drywall with your X-Acto knife when you're cutting those extra pieces. That's absolutely fine. You're gonna paint over it. I think the next step is one of the most important because it's gonna make your pattern look very crisp. When you're masking for painting, it doesn't matter how hard you press on that tape, there's always going to be a little paint sipping under the tape. So when you paint black over your tape, what's happening is that the black paint is sipping under your tape and sealing anything else from coming down. And whenever you paint other colors, then the other color doesn't have a way to sip in. It's not gonna be perfect, but believe me, it's gonna help you a lot. Once that paint has cured and all the paint that you put over your tape is cured and dry, then you start painting these colors. The pattern is relatively easy to paint. All these segments are dark gray, all these segments are the medium gray, and all these segments are the light gray. It could be confusing and you don't want to paint other colors on a different segment. So I would go with a piece of chalk, putting either numbers or letters on each of the colors. The chalk most likely will fall off when you're painting, but it will give you a reference of the right colors. I've done this on the past. I put a little spot of paint so I don't get confused. However, that causes that whenever I paint the entire segment, I see a patch of the color that I put before. So it's kind of like a second coat just in a little patch. That's not gonna look good. So that's why I recommend you to use a piece of chalk or something else that you can paint over. With the background being black, you're probably gonna need several coats of the lighter colors. Maybe this one 3 coats, this one maybe 2 coats. Once that paint is cured, the fun part begins. You have to unmask it. Try to be careful when you do it, just so you don't pry any of the paint over. If you do, then you just have to do a little bit of touch up. On this one, there's a little bit of sipping under the tape. However, it's really hard to see. I haven't done any touch up yet, but you might not even need it. And that's it. Now you can do your own Epcot wall. Don't forget to leave your comments below, and as well as some questions. I'll try to answer as many as I can. Also, I'm gonna leave you all the things that I used. I'll leave you a link to my Etsy page on the description. I sell what I call Disney walls to go, and they look more or less like this. This one is a painting of 4 sections, so this is just 2 sections. They're missing the other 2, but I can't hold them all. And I sell them on my Etsy page. If you have any requests or any comments or any questions, send me a message through there and I can definitely make one for you. I make my Disney walls to go on gray, the galactic purple wall, and also the bubble gum wall in Epcot. However, I can also do some custom colors. I hope this was useful. I hope you like it, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.